right? Your purpose, your destiny is what you really want deep down and high up too. You know what I mean? Close up. Deep down and close up is what you want, is your purpose, is what you want. It's what will make you most peaceful in mind. It will give you not give you peace, but it will bring you back to peace on your way to freedom, on your way to bliss. Is your purpose, is what you want. It is the very desire that drives your passion. You know what I mean? You could take detours for your passion. You know what I mean? You can divert as well as exert different ranges and degrees of your passion in these, particular or arranged in assorted directions. Because the passion is beautiful and the desire is even more beautiful. Yes? As far as life force energy though, and that being desire itself, you have a signature. You have your own signature desire. You have your own unique desire. It has to do with when you were born, specifically when you were born, as far as even the phase of the moon, then the time of the day, the place on earth you were, the time of year, okay, literally, that all even influences your fucking purpose, right? So it's like, as far as destiny, I mean, I'm not trying to act like I know what I'm saying, for one. I'm talking to you about what obviously it must be. And the situation is where you came here with an assignment, and that has to do with the family that you're born to. It's no coincidence you were born in the very even year that you're born. You could have been born in 700 BC, right? But you were born right now, and where you were by no accident, right? And that has to do with your destiny, and your destiny is linked to your purpose, just like your passion is linked to your desire, and your desire is linked to your passion. So I argue, and not to argue, but I contend, I present, I would suggest that the best thing to do is what you want to do. Because what I'm saying to you is, and what I thought of, what I basically just thought of, and I know you will fucking agree, but you won't get the chance to talk about this with nobody, because of course then it's like, what you gonna do afterwards? After you have this big, super intense conversation, a big, specifically precise information shared, what are you gonna do? But that's why I'm just saying it to where you don't have to nobody even have to know that you thought about it, okay? And not to say that you're not thinking about it on your own, but a lot of times we don't have the opportunity to bring certain subconscious considerations to the forefront of our mind, because it's like, for what form, for what window do we have that opening? So as to, really even examine our thoughts about a thought, without it having to be linked to whatever sort of decision that we've already made that brought us to it, or that we will be making based on the special occurrence or occasion to where we're actually using our brain for what we want to use it for, right? How much are you using your brain for what you want to use it for, so as to learn? What is the point of learning if it's not so as a tool towards some sort of project, performance that you're interested in doing? Well, there's a lot of learning that should be going on outside of what you would even think to learn. And that takes following through on whatever the thoughts that you are deciding upon, the thoughts that do develop into ideas, and those ideas presenting different decisions. it takes you following through with all of that activity in your mind. That's the importance of being able to have, concise communication with people, good conversations with other thinking people. That's one importance, rather. That's one benefit. That's one advantage. I would suggest. However, you don't have to speak on everything you think about. You don't have to speak on every decision, idea that you're having. And I'm not saying every one of them. I'm saying being able to at least get in the practice of identifying and recognizing the style of the idea that it is. It's like, it's a lot of good that we can do, as far as like to enhance, to support, to enhance, as well as advance already active arrangements here on Earth, locally, globally, universally. But it's a lot of, but there's a lot of competition. It's usually sanctioned by economic interests, and economic interests denotes capitalist interests, right? Now, because we could say economic, but that's not really what we mean, because the economy in itself is a weapon of capitalism, right? It shouldn't have to be, and we want to take the economy and economic focus as a route towards contributing to and advancing and enhancing the dismantling of the capitalist system, which actually has coined the economy, which actually has shaped the economy and will continue to, because the economy is based and founded through capitalist means. Okay, that's the world we in. This is the facts. It's out of hand. It started with one idea, but it wasn't saw through all the way. Okay, that idea and those decisions that were taken before another one was taken or focused on more, even if we was focusing on several or numerous ideas as we was taking whatever decision we took, it's still been going on, and it's gotten out of hand. I don't think that the elitist, the inceptors, the implementers of this said current system saw it getting to this point. I mean, I won't say that. I know that they did, because it's all been a plan. It's all been a generational plan. But I don't think that they really understood life and love in the way that they've been able to now, over the time of it being improper and bad. No matter, regardless of how good it also is, or regardless of how best it may even be, that it has been bad or worst, you feel me? Because what happens is, like I said, as you change, what you understand changes, and as you grow, then the ideas that you have now are even that much more diverse. That's that much more, versatile. And you have certain ideas for reasons, and that's the whole point I'm saying. Like, you can tell which ideas are inspired by that higher design, and that has to do with destiny and purpose, you know what I mean? As far as just like the economy, because the economy is based on the ecology, right? There's no money without natural resources. Natural resources come from the earth, right? So the economy is the ecology, right? You can't even build nothing without nothing that comes from the earth, right? Metal, all that, everything, whatever you want to build, whether it's a house, that's wood, right? And entire real estate is the very backbone of the economy, right? Land itself. The ownership of land, nigga, is a very source, is a very, you know what I'm saying? Is a very stage, is the foundation of the economy. Is the ownership of land, nigga. Right? You can, you know what I'm saying? Aside from, nigga, the control of what's coming up out of the fucking dirt, okay? So the economy is the ecology, yes? Right? So that's the point. That's what I'm telling you about. You know what I'm saying? As far as the economy and all that shit. Yeah, I done forgot why I even mentioned the economy. What I was talking to you about basically is your destiny, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And your purpose on Earth. The purpose of the Earth, nigga, is directly tied to and definitely dictates and determines your purpose on this Earth, nigga. Okay, so let's keep it in perspective, cuz, right? Do what you want to do more and more, because that will help to shape, to reveal to you your realization of what it is that you need to do, which is your purpose, which is your priority, should be, at least ideally, we want to move towards to where what is the best thing is the next thing, okay? And what is necessary now is priority. You know what I'm talking about? Was the conversation, yes? And we all have our own individual, personal legends, our own personal priorities. And a lot of times those get mixed up and twisted up, but we also have our own personal importance. And who's to say who is important or more or less and more important to anyone else or to the larger spectrum of life other than life itself? Life being nature. Yes? Well, that's, you know what I mean? It's all on who you allow to be talking and what you allow, you know what I mean? What you allow to be understood as even, you feel me? Relevant, like, you know what I mean? Like, right? So it's like, what you want to do is your core values, is your actual, what makes you who you are. I mean, as far as like what you want, it's like it always can be something that's not necessarily contrasting with your full purpose or destiny. And so that makes him that much, appealing to you, to where it's more, I mean, it's not, whatever it is, it's 50% or more not contrasting or interfering necessarily with your actual full purpose. Because like I said, it's all about gauging it. You know what I mean? You can't go full-fledged and you still feeling through your purpose, right? But if you start from the center, from the source, if you start from where that purpose even originates from, by self-reflection, by delving within, actualizing your own concepts and ideas and actualizing your own vision, starting from just, a place of peace, a place of devotion, a place of clarity for one, then you're gonna at least subconsciously be able to keep that in mind and in the decisions that would come to you, because like I say, you're doing some thinking. We do thinking that happens just automatically. We have automated thinking that happens, yes. We have automated actions, but these are reflexes, yes. Like that woman who picked that thing up. She didn't have to think about that. She probably didn't even think about it afterwards. She was just so happy to see the stress out of the face of her child. That's all that she could see, right? It was not comfortable with that situation. The fear was in its face. It was in danger. That's all that mattered. That's all that she had to see. That's all she had to know. That was enough for her to know to do whatever was in her power without having to think about it. To change it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you may not be able to do what you want, or it may be harder to, you feel like what you want to do is something that is out of reach for you. But are you really thinking about it? Because that's like even crazy to even have to admit that you think. But if you have had the chance to even consider what you really, really want to do, which is rare because we usually just go with whatever we can do, you know, because we don't want to be greedy. We want to be humble. You know what I mean? It's like, shit, like we don't really necessarily be knowing what we want to do all the time, you know? It's like, but you got to know what you want to do because you already do know what you want to do. You already do. You already know what it is that it is for you to do. And that is the best action to take. And that, in perspective, is what it is that you want to do. Because you wanted to be born, to come to earth to begin with. Right? And you wanted to be born to do what it is that you were born to do. Right? This is what our ancestors documented to be read by anyone that they didn't even realize would be reading it, which they didn't actually write it down, to be honest with you. But it was passed as knowledge, as information, as lessons, as wisdom. Now, when it got written down, it's still not even correctly written down to this day. But the story is there in the hearts and minds and ears and the ideas of those who have not been taken out of the spectrum, taken out of the spectral, association of it through this modernization and capitalistic, imperialist agenda. And this is the facts. Okay? So you already know what you want to do, whether you've thought about it and decided upon whatever sort of idea surrounding it. That's what life is about, that's what, just understand that when you get to complaining about shit or, feel me? You know what I mean? Wishing you wasn't alive and shit or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Or wishing you was somebody else or born different or whatever the fuck. No, you don't really want that. Because if you really, really, really wanted that, the you who you are and always will be, regardless of if you are here on earth or not, chose what you chose and was happy about it, yo. You could have chose anything. You could have been born anywhere, anytime, cuz you chose to be who you are, my nigga. And that's the beautiful part of it. And what's cold is it's not about nobody else and what they think about it. Like nobody else may even understand it or agree with choosing to be who you are. You feel me? They might be like, well, shit, I don't know why a spirit would want to be you. But shit, you ain't supposed to know. That's for only you to embrace and celebrate. Only you can. You understand? Right? And that is the degrees and the ranges. Right? So as to, operate and experiment with, for sure. Because like I said, sometimes it's best not to do the worst thing. Sometimes it's best not to do nothing than the wrong thing, because you got right and wrong, you got worse and best, right? You feel me? So that's what I'm just saying. It's like, and it's not about inactivity. At the same time, a lot of times we end up involving ourselves with actions that are taking away from true fulfillment, true enrichment that others said or opposite or different actions would be much more proper as well as wise to involve ourselves in. And that's happening more and more. And that's how, it's becoming even that much more easier to compare ourselves to each other. When there's no comparison, there can only be one you. It's not about what's, standardly accepted as quality, yo. It's not about that at all. You know what I mean? The quality is the authenticity, right? Of your true and singularly unique identity, which is incomparable to anything. Now, if you want to let somebody make you a label, you want to make somebody make you a component of this particular other program, which puts money in their pocket, then just know that that's what you're doing when you don't say, well, shit, what's the best thing for me to do? And that's what I want to do, right? And so that's why I'm encouraging you to do what you want to do, right? Because then in itself, even if you are wrong or you have a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation, if your idea is flawed as to and in reference to what it is you want to do, if you never even do what you think you want to do, then you know what I'm saying? You're tangling yourself even more, right? Even if you change what you want to do to what it is that you can do, or that it is that you have to do. Now, even if you need to do, because what you need to do is what I'm telling you is what you want to do, right? Your purpose is what you need to do, right? Your destiny is where you need to be at, yes? Right, maybe not. Maybe you don't need to be there, but you definitely don't need to be nowhere else. You definitely don't need to be doing nothing else. Now, you need to survive in order to do anything, right? You need to, you feel me? However, with faith and through faith, you got to understand something, like, ain't nothing impossible for one, right? And if you take a, you know what I'm saying? If you try to lean on what, you know what I mean, what you think, then you got to know, you got to understand, and you put in the whole, you put in the outcome in just your hands, when you're supposed to leave it on God's mantle. Okay? For one, pray about it for sure. Say, Allah, what is my purpose? What is my destiny? Right? Now, and don't stop praying till you understand it. And don't just, assume, and don't go with the first thing that come to mind. Say, okay, that seems interesting. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind as I'm doing what I gotta do out here. And I'm gonna continue to do what I got to do. Right? But what's beautiful, what's amazing, what's miraculous, my nigga, is the clouds will open up for you, yo. You will have the light of life within you. And all of light surrounding you, nigga, will come to meet that light. And you'll have so many options, and you'll understand that everything is your destiny. The only thing that is not your purpose, family, is what you want to make it to be. Is what you're fighting against the flow to try to implement, to try to demand, to try to claim as your right because you work hard enough for it. Like, yeah, that's one thing. That's one out of the endless others that are beyond your comprehension, because of course you keeping an open mind to what it is that life says. You know what I mean? And as you have these ideas, which is going to shine light on decisions, see those decisions out, see those options out. Whatever one you choose, keep in mind what it is that you're not choosing. And like I said, sometimes it's best not to do anything than the wrong thing. Just because you have an impulse to reflect, or to have a reflex, or to have a, to take action, to make a decision. I say roll with it. I'll say roll with it, honestly. I'm not going to tell you to be hesitant, because you can get trapped in the fear. As we said, fear is apprehension. But it also is the door to discernment. So it's like, we're talking about thoughts. So that's why it's just that much more important to be always thinking, and thinking deeper, and thinking more clearer. And not just doing enough thinking to get to a point to where you can just make a decision, and then that'll get you closer to where it is that you want to be done with whatever action, so that you can, whatever, you know what I'm saying, try to, seek this fulfillment. Like, it's all about service, first of all. What are you giving? How much more are you giving? And that's something that it's hard to do. It's hard for me, even myself, to do. It's to always remember what it is that I'm giving, like even to this point right now. And what's cold is like, that is, your purpose is to bring good to this earth, for one. That's everyone's purpose. That's just the beginning. If we're not all doing that first, then anything that we would even come up with is going to be that much more fucking demented, okay? And twisted off. And it is demented, and it's all twisted and fucking contorted, for sure. And a lot of our purposes involve contorted responses to what has been going on throughout the span of time. You know what I mean? It doesn't define it, though. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't, it's just like a way It's just, you know what I mean? Because like I said, it's universal. It's not really one thing, and except for the only thing that it isn't is what God don't say it is. That's the only thing that it ain't. You feel me? A nigga asked me, what is your purpose? What is my destiny? I said, well, shit, man, a lot of times, we try to make it be what would be most pleasing to us, what would be, most appealing to us. Because not everybody's reward is the same, and this reward for me, no one else actually even could really appreciate it or enjoy it like I could. So that must be what my purpose is, right? Shoot, I mean, this is good enough for me, or this is better than anything else that I could have taken too. But it's not about what you want it to be. It's not about what you decide. It is about what you decide, though, because you can always decide to focus on what it is you choose or what you prefer, right? But like I said, there's a larger purpose, there's a larger destiny for life itself.